8 women murdered over a 4-year span in south central Louisiana. Loretta Chasson Lewis, Ernestine Patterson, Kristen Lopez, Whitney Dubois, Laconia Brown, Crystal Benoit Zeno, Brittany Gary, Nicole Guillory. Their unsolved killings garnered national attention, often portrayed as the work of a serial killer.
Now eyewitness investigator Mike Pearlstein has obtained never-before-seen police documents, and what he's found suggests a very different and frightening theory.
When the last light warms the rocks and the rat...
Jennings is a small town on the edge of Cajun country. The paved streets give way to dirt roads as you hit the rice fields and crawfish ponds on the outskirts. These farmlands should be peaceful, but in Jennings, the roads lead to dark reminders of the horrible things that happened to 8 young women here. They all knew each other, used drugs together, and one by one, they all became murder victims. Their bodies were dumped along these rural roads, some in the weeds, some half submerged in canals. At a few spots, crime scene tape has been replaced by stark memorials. So all of this points to something very local.
Very local, somebody right in the center of this, if you go by geographical profiling. It's somebody right in the center of this area.
The women have something else in common. Each killing remains unsolved. At first, police thought they were looking for a serial killer, but the evidence suggests something different and potentially more sinister.
I think we have more than one killer here, and I think they all run in the same circle. I think somebody knows something, but they're scared to talk.
Private investigator Kirk Menard knows as much as anyone about these murders, which gripped the community from 2005 to 2009 and has set the town on edge ever since. Menard was hired by the families of several victims, hired after local police came up empty.
You know, sometimes I wonder, are they any further along than what they were the first day they started?
The numbers are sobering. These 8 killings, along with 9 other unsolved murders in the area since the first body was discovered, gives Jefferson Davis Parish one of the lowest clearance rates for homicide in the country. According to the FBI, the parish has a clearance rate of less than 7% compared to a national rate of 64%.
And nobody has seen to find out who's doing the killing. You know what I'm saying? And all these people, we all know them, you know? So why can't the police find out who's killing them?
Lionel Baptiste lives on the city's south side, where most of the victims engaged in their high-risk lifestyles. He thinks there's more involved than just bad luck or poor detective work.
I think it's connected with the police, because there's too many murders and you can't solve them, and it's steady going on, back to back to back. How you not can catch these men?
The idea that police are somehow involved in 8 killings is widely shared, and there's a disturbing pattern of police misconduct that supports the theory. Just last year, former Jennings Police Chief Johnny Lassiter, in office over the period of the killings, pled guilty to stealing money and drugs from the evidence room. A few years before that, Paula Guillory, a Jefferson Davis deputy, was fired after being accused of the same thing. In fact, this 109-page report obtained by Eyewitness Investigates contains dozens of interviews in which witnesses point to police involvement. The report is by a multi-agency task force formed in 2008 to solve the killings.
They're getting tons of information about specific cops and deputies and their involvement in these homicides.
Author and private investigator Ethan Brown has delved deeply into the murders. He found that a pattern of police misconduct directly torpedoed chances for a break in the case. Take Guillory, the fired deputy. When she was dismissed for mishandling evidence, she was a member of the task force.
With the misconduct that's really marred this whole case, really from the get-go on the part of law enforcement.
Perhaps the most glaring missed opportunity can be found in this 2007 ethics violation by Jeff Davis deputy Warren Gary, who at the time was the department's chief criminal investigator. Gary was fined $10,000 for buying a truck from a parish inmate, then immediately selling it for a handsome profit. The disappearance of the truck would prove to be a major blow. In a case with almost no physical evidence, witnesses had told deputies that a recent passenger in the truck was Kristen Lopez. Lopez was victim number 3, and the truck reportedly was used to carry her body to this canal, where her badly beaten body was found. The loss of the truck meant the loss of potentially critical DNA evidence. So what happened to Gary after the ethics fine?
He was promoted by Sheriff Edwards to run, of all things, the evidence room.
Each case of police misconduct created breaks for this man, Frankie Richard. Let's start with what we know. You had a history of owning strip clubs?
Right.
Using drugs?
Right.
Including hard drugs?
Correct.
Cocaine?
Okay.
Crack cocaine?
Crack
How
cocaine.
much crack cocaine?
A whole lot.
He also admitted that he knew all of the victims, some intimately.
I have gotten high with most of them. Okay. Most of the girls.
And had sex with some of them?
Yeah, a couple of them.
Richard became a suspect in 2 of the killings. In one case, that of Kristen Lopez, he was in custody for 89 days before the case fell apart. One piece of evidence that could have linked him to Lopez was the truck bought and sold by Gary, the chief investigator. Richard admits he was one of the last people to see Lopez alive, kicking her out of a motel where they were getting high together. He also admits being one of the last people to see the next victim, Whitney Dubois. If you were law enforcement, wouldn't you come to you with questions?
Of course. Yes, I would come with questions.
But Richard flat out denies being involved in the killings and said he has taken several lie detector tests for detectives.
I didn't have anything to do with any of the killings. I never hurt any of them girls in any kind of way.
Police have not eliminated Richard as a suspect, but Richard offers his own theory.
I believe that if it wasn't a cop that done it, there's a cop that knows who done it.
Even though the trail has grown cold, the task force remains in operation, headed up by a new sheriff, Ivy Woods. In an effort to revive the probe, Woods has brought in new deputies, posted public reminders of the cases, and is trying to repair bad blood in the community. Distrust of law enforcement. Tell me about that.
Yeah, because the rumor's gotten out several times within this investigation that it has to be a law enforcement official that committed these murders because they can't be caught.
Despite the many setbacks, Woods and his investigators believe the cases can be solved. Task Force Detective Chris Ivy said patience is critical.
You can't get flustered because you do, but you can't let it affect you because they're not going to go away.
And if dogged detective work doesn't lead to a break, the reward in the case is now up to $85,000.
Well, what size reward will make a person come out and say it in fear of their life?
Kirk Menard, the PI, thinks the answers are out there somewhere. Since he's been on the case, he has come as close to anyone in pinpointing the patterns in the killings. Working undercover, Menard discovered the drug hangouts, coaxed new information from reluctant witnesses, found evidence police overlooked. But his most alarming contribution was this video, shot in June 2009. On the street where some of the other victims engaged in their risky behavior, he filmed 26-year-old Nicole Guillory walking alone, combing her long hair. 2 months later, she became victim number 8.
Yeah, it was very unsettling that the girl that I videotaped later became a victim.
Menard said fresh tips are a lot less frequent these days. But like so many people in this town, Menard says the victims are never far from his thoughts, along with the nagging notion that out there, somewhere, is the key to unlock these tragic mysteries.
Answers are here in this town. Somebody has those answers. Somebody knows who is responsible for each and every one of these murders.
Mike Pearlstein reporting. The former police chief, Johnny Lassiter, is awaiting sentencing on 2 counts of malfeasance. Former Deputy Paula Guillory is no longer in law enforcement. Mike Pearlstein tried to contact both of them but could not reach them. Former Chief Investigator Warren Gary left the sheriff's office. We could not find any new contact information for him. If you have any information in the case, call 1-337-824-6662.